Welcome to the Garth Riley Show. You know, one of the features I love doing is a topic I call Against All Odds. And I don't mean that the people are disadvantaged, the people that I have on the show about this. I actually admire people that, take a look and do something that when you take a look at the face value, you realize, man, like there is a whack of stacks up against you, and it may not even be possible to win it, but people are often in it anyways. And I had an opportunity to meet my guest, I guess a few months back, and Trish McAuliffe said to me, she told me that she was running for politics, and she told me she was running up against what I would think is almost an unbeatable person in politics in the area where she's going to be doing her run. And I asked her, do you really think you can win? And she said, well, I'm going to try. I said, but why are you doing this? I mean, and then she said to me, because I think I can make a difference. And I said, against all odds. And now you're my guest.
Yes, thank you, Garth.
Well, Trish, we've talked a bit. I remember I asked you to come on the show because really this is about, not necessarily, we're certainly talking about your political beliefs, but there are your beliefs that line up with some political ideas. I think that happens, but that's not really where we're going to go for a lot of this interview. Where I want to go with this interview is, Trish the person. And I think we're in a time of the heart. And there's somebody, like I know I rally against big things all the time. And I admire other people that are kind of like that. You took on a big challenge, but it doesn't come strange for you because you've been involved. CAW Leadership Training Facility, you've been involved. Human rights advocate and representative. It's like, what are you doing Sunday? I'm going to do that. Yeah. Women's leadership training, National Political Task Force for the CAW, McMaster Labor Studies Certificate. Then the campus mediation and, Congress of Retirees. Like, you have been this person that has done things helping people against all odds. And where did it come from?
Well, I never really looked at it that way in my whole lifetime, I suppose. It's just something that I felt privileged to be able to help people. I feel an overwhelming sense to make a difference. And it sort of comes to me over time as to the direction that needs to be taken. Sometimes it's in combination with what's going on in my immediate surroundings. Sometimes it's in a broader area of my life or my community. I'm just a person that really believes that others need supporting of other folks that may find a way there, a way to make that difference, or a way to engage. I've never been afraid. I think in a sense there are different fears that I have, but I've never been afraid to, some people call it stick your neck out, or to have a voice of reason, and or ask the questions that need to be asked to say, our shift of consciousness for people to engage themselves too. So it's an inclusive feeling, but it's also a feeling that I get that says, it's my own little way of contributing back, building myself, building an energy, building for change.
I'm 6'6", 300 pounds, right? You're a little smaller, but you're pretty feisty.
Feisty, but determined, accountable, and with a calling that doesn't have to come in a big package.
Right, it's true. Some people think, how can I? Now let's be fair. You're now going to run, and it's very, the finance minister of Canada. It's, you're going to run in his riding. In a riding, let's face it, that NDP has not done very well in, and it's been blue for a very long time in certain areas. And because of the way the Canadian political system works, you got to sort of get in the game that way. But there's a sense of me that says it doesn't matter what the party would be. I get you, but I get you're the person that joined that party. You didn't join the party. You just said, I got to go here. I think if you had to be independent, you would do it. You'd just be out there trying to change anyways. I get that feeling from you. I don't know. I get that sense of strength from you.
There is an independent force of strength that I do carry. But I find the important part is aligning.
Yeah,
and aligning with like values, like-minded people, or opportunities that present themselves that say, that's what I reflect. Or maybe sometimes as a mentor, someone that is in part of an organization that truly believes. So I don't always see it as taking a lead in the issue and coming forth that way, but being part of something larger that you can include and become part of and grow with.
Yeah, I guess not to say that leadership is not an isolation. It's not an isolation position. I think today's leader is consultative but they eventually have to make their own decision. They have to be able to make the tough call. Talking about, I grew up in Winnipeg, right? And my family, just to give you background, I don't know if I told you this, my family were staunch supporters back as the CCF. And was back at the beginning of the NDP. And then my grandfather, because they worked for the railway, were NDP supporters. I remember growing up all the time. Winnipeg was a Labour town. Oshawa, Durham, Labour town, right. Or was at least. And now, I understood those core values. But I always wondered about anybody who ran for that party was they had to have some sort of sick dimension to them, in my opinion, only because there was such opposition to what they do. But a lot of the social changes that have happened in this country have happened because you guys ask questions and push issues.
Absolutely.
And I see a smile when I tell you that. Yeah. You're going to be the bridesmaid, but may not be the bride.
Who knows?
You don't know.
People say it every day. Well, you never know. Stranger things happen. And again, it's about where people can realign their values. And maybe people are ready to make that shift. I mean, we've been in a real type of economy where it's consumer-driven. It's about free markets. There's a force out there that has gone way beyond, I think, real people's potentials and where people feel they want to reconnect politically. And I think, for me, it says often people are ready to get back to the roots, get back to where there has been good change, of social value. And I see as the NDP a party where I align my values too. Like you, I have lots of history around the party, and I understand from reading the histories of the party and changes that have come about that it's always been community-driven. Yes. It's about working-class people. And I am who I am. I don't sign the front of my check. Well, we used to do that, right? Sign the back of your check. Take it to the bank, sign the back, cash it in. Many of us sign the back of our check, right? Today, I think for me, it's important to get the voice of people back in Parliament, a voice of reason, accountability. Opposition has always been the flavor of my life. I've kind of always played that role.
Really?
Absolutely. This just plays a natural place of who I am. And I believe that there's a real urgency to have more opposition today. I think that the NDP if they were the official party of opposition against a Conservative government today, I think you'd see a real balance. I think you'd really see a reflection of people's needs, put in place policy changes, and I think that's what I want to be. And I want to be in a place and position others and be with others that can make the policies effective for whether it's the growing income gap, whether it's the growing poverty conditions, because government policies, put people in their place where they are, whether wealthy or poor. And we're seeing that grow. The gap is growing. So policies need to be shifted.